Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a review for you of this little guy right here. This is the Victorinox Moneyclip, although actually I would say it's actually a knife instead. But anyways, first off, I want to thank my buddy Chris for sending this guy along. It's an interesting piece that I've just thrown on the floor, and I wouldn't have gotten a chance to talk about it otherwise. So thank you very much for that, Chris. Next thing, let's do a size comparison. Here it is. I'll go ahead and I'll deploy the main blade on this guy. And here it is against the Ontario Rat number 2. Here it is against the Spyderco Delica. So we can see here, this is a very, very small piece. Here it is against the Spyderco Paramilitary too. And so you can see here, this is a little smaller in a couple of different ways. And then finally, here it is against the very best Victorinox on the market. That is the Nick Shabazz Victorinox Classic, which I admit a little bit of bias towards. But nonetheless, we can see that it is bigger than the Classic, though, in a meaningful way. Although, certainly not as awesome. Anyways, so there you go. Then finally, this is going to be a quick review because honestly, there's not that much to this guy. So we'll just keep it there and talk about what's good and what's not so good. To start with, on the good side, there's a nice finish here. So here, I'll polish it up a little bit. This has a very nice little bit of metallicity to it. You can see here, it's got some reflection. It's got some joy there. I am a big fan of the overall finish on this guy. Sort of an aluminum thing with the nice red. It looks pretty. It's an attractive little object. Next thing, this does actually have a clip here. So that makes this actually easier to carry in some ways if you're used to a pocket clip style pocket knife than a lot of your Victorinoxes out there. And given how thin it is, oh yeah, that's very, very nice. And next thing, this has 3 different tools on it. It has a pair of scissors that have some spring loading to them. See, scissor. Right there we have that is of course the sound that scissors make. Here we have the good old-fashioned blade here, and the blade length on this, by the way, should measure that out for legal reasons. Just a hair over 2 inches, which is going to make this illegal in a bunch of places where it didn't need to be illegal. Well done there, Victorinox. And then here we have a file tool, which is also a nail cleaner tool. So there you go. And it also has a little notch right there. So I guess the sharpening choil for the unsharpened file. But this is not a knife. There is no blade edge here. So there is that. Next thing, on the good side, Victorinox tends to be very non-scary. If you take out a Swiss Army knife, nobody's going to bat an eye. Whereas if you take out a big, paramilitary too, a bunch of people are going to get a little bit freaked out. People are going to be diving under the table in the lunchroom. So, do keep that in mind. This is going to be a very nice choice for being around scared individuals. That's good. Next thing, the knife on this guy is thin. That is one thing that can always be said for Victorinox knives, is that they are thin knives, thin blades. And as a result, they're very thin behind the edge. These tend to cut very well when they are sharp. And so that's something that I do appreciate, and it makes them a very good tool even when they are dull, and that's important. We'll talk about that later. But there you go. Next thing, the knife on this guy is actually a little safer than usual, because what we see here is that there is this little finger guard area, but it's exactly level with the edge of the knife. And so what this means is if you put your finger here, this really isn't closing at all. It's not locked by any stretch of the imagination, but it really can't close. And so as a result, this is a lot safer to cut with than some of the other Victorinox style tools where the knife ends up a little bit more offset in the middle there. And so I like that very much. And then finally, on the good side, this is super lightweight and thin. I'll throw this guy in the scale here. Remember, we're just over 2 inches of blade here, and we're coming in at 0.98 ounces. It's very, very hard for me to think about a knife that's going to be a lot lighter than this. This is a very, very exceptionally light knife that is still somehow all metal, and it actually includes some other stuff in there as well. So in terms of super light and thin, this is going to be an absolute winner. And so to me, all of that is the good, is that it is super light and thin. It's a little safer than usual. The knife blade itself is very thin and thin behind the edge. Victorinox tends to be non-scary. It's got 3 different tools. It actually has a clip on there, which is a nice departure for Victorinox, and it has a very nice finish. Unfortunately, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. There are some downsides. First of which is Victorinox steel. The thing is, with Victorinox steel, I hope you like sharpening because you're going to be doing it all the time. The steel that Victorinox uses is old school is a very charitable way to think about it. It's not amazing. I don't care for the steel that they use. It is super easy to sharpen, which is good because you're going to be doing it a lot. But compared to any other modern knife steel, it feels like it's pretty well behind the pack. Everybody's going to be, oh my God, so easy to sharpen. Yeah, that's true. That's because it's, so is Play-Doh. That's unfair. But I don't care for the steel that they use in Victorinox knives. It just doesn't tend to impress me much. And I really hope that one of these days they're going to realize that modern steels exist and move to those because they're going to make the overall experience a whole lot better. Next thing, the ergonomics actually using the knife are pretty awful. I mean, to start with, you're using a nail nick, which I kind of hate personally, but I'm willing to consider as bias. The thing is, where you're resting your thumb on this guy is literally the top of the scissors. I kind of wish they had gone the other way around, where the scissors faced the opposite direction. It might not have been possible for them, given, what they're doing here, but as a result, you would have had a nicer area in this is just not great in the hand. This is something that would work fine for occasionally opening an envelope, but if you're actually meaning to do serious cutting with this tool, A, the blade's going to be dull already, and B, it's not great in the hand. So as a result, I'm not a big fan of that. Ergonomically speaking, it doesn't work very well. Next thing, they refer to this as a money clip. And to be fair, if you're paying $40 for this, you're not going to have that much money left over. But at the same time, really? Like this, if we actually look at this in terms of like cards, this does not, think about the amount of stuff that this can hold. Like, it's already over capacity with like 3 credit cards, and then you want to throw some cash in there? Well, what this is a money clip in the sense that, yeah, you can throw a $20 bill under there, no freaking problem. It will clip onto that. But don't plan to carry much of anything with this, and this could not possibly replace a wallet for, I think, most modern humans. Unless you are that rare person who can leave the house with a $20 bill wrapped around your one credit card and you don't need ID or anything. I just don't see this as a money clip. This should be just advertised as a thin and lightweight pocket clip knife. So I appreciate the clip as a pocket clip, but as a money clip, absolutely not. And then finally, on the bad side, $40 is the price here. Now, if you look at every other damn thing in Victorinox lineup, it's cheaper than this. I mean, that's not exactly true, but Victorinox tends to be a very budget-focused brand, and then there's this. $40 seems awfully high for this. I mean, if the steel were worth a damn, then maybe, if you do this in, I don't know, M390 or something, sure, then we'll talk $40. That's, maybe I'm being a dick there, but at the same time, that just price, Victorinox tends to be very price competitive, and this doesn't feel like it is. So, to me, at least, that's not great. Price on this is a little bit high. And so to me, all that's the bad is that it's pricey, it's a money clip, but it isn't really a money clip. The ergos just aren't great, and it's using Victorinox steel, which is not great. On the final conclusion front, this is a nice looking and very thin little knife with a little bit of extra function, a nice clip, and not a whole heck of a lot else. And that's actually kind of a good thing, right? The steel is unimpressive, the ergos are awful, the money clip isn't a money clip, and the price is kind of high relative to the rest of their options. In practice, is this something that you're going to want? Probably not, but I can see 2 types of folks enjoying it. I mean, of course, the Victorinox collector is going to be all over this, right? Because it's a piece of Victorinox merchandise, and I can see if you're in love with the brand, if you're in love with the ethos, then sure, you're willing to pay $40 for this, and you're already used to shopping every damn moment, so that'll be fine for you. But on the other side, I can actually see this having a home in somebody's super thin, super lightweight EDC. If you're one of those people who needs to fit your entire life inside of an Altoids tin, actually, I can see this being of interest, because you could actually even potentially remove the clip to thin this out sooner. But this is a super lightweight thing, and it is actually a competent pocket knife, assuming you can put a little tiny sharpening. I'm sorry, I beat up on the steel all the time, but dude, come on. Welcome to the 2020s, people. But nonetheless, I think you would probably enjoy something with a little bit more substance, a little bit more steel, a little bit more ergonomics if you're really looking for an everyday carry piece. But if you're just looking for thin and light, or if you're already a dyed-in-the-wool Victorinox person, I think this could find its way and clip onto your life somehow or another. So anyways, there you go. I hope this has been interesting to you, and have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.